Let's get out the candlelight and the soft music because we're about to match up the View connection server to a vSphere's vCenter server. Let's begin. One of the challenges we need to address, we're going to do it right now, is interfacing the connection server over with vCenter. You see, when Bob or Lois runs their VMware Horizon client and they connect to the connection server, and then the connection server presents these pools of resources that are really VMs over here on vSphere, there has to be some communication going back and forth between vCenter and connection server to facilitate the remote desktop usage that Bob and Lois want to use. So what you and I are going to do in this nugget is we are going to connect to the connection server. We're going to run View Administrator. We're going to go to View Configuration, go to Servers, and we'll tell the connection server about the vCenter, including credentials on how to log in and work with vCenter. So here in View Administrator, on the left-hand side, we're going to go ahead and expand the View Configuration section, and we're going to select Servers. And the very first tab up here that's already selected is vCenter Servers. So we're going to take a giant leap of faith here and guess that if we click on the Add button, it'll allow us to add a vCenter server. So we'll click on Add, and what we're really doing is we're pointing to an existing functioning vCenter server. And this could be the appliance, or it could be vCenter running on top of a Windows platform. So we're currently running in our topology vCenter on a host called vc-cmp, and the fully qualified domain name is vc-cmp.nuglab.local. Next, we're going to provide a username that has permissions inside of vSphere on the vCenter server. And I'm going to use the username of administrator@nuglab.local. And it would be a great idea just to log on to vCenter with that user ID, just to make sure that it does have the permissions you think it has for vSphere. We're going to be connecting on port 443, and that should be enough to establish a connection. So let's click on Next. And now we have a little nastygram coming back from the vCenter server, and that's because vCenter is using a self-signed certificate that this host cannot validate. It's not a CA signed cert. So because this is a lab environment and I know there's a self-signed cert on that vCenter server, I'm going to go ahead and click on View Certificate, and I'm going to click on Accept to accept that self-signed certificate. Next, it's asking us about whether or not we're going to be using a VMware View Composer service, which we will be, but not yet. We'll save that for another nugget. So for now, we'll leave the default radio button set that says Do Not Use View Composer, and we'll click on Next. And in this window, the fact that it shows us two ESXi hosts is a great sign that we've got some good communication between our connection server and the vCenter server. We will also leave the storage settings defaults to reclaim VM disk space and to enable the View Storage Accelerator with a check mark in both of those boxes, and we'll click on Next. And we'll click on Finish. And da-da-da-da, we have now linked our connection server with a vCenter server. And the benefit now of doing that is our connection server can give instructions over to vCenter as well as learn information and get information from vCenter. Specifically, details regarding virtual machines that are part of vSphere. In this nugget, we've used the View Administrator to link a vCenter server to a View connection server. I appreciate you joining me for this nugget. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.